Hello everyone, my name is Simi and I'm the head girl this year at Alexandra College. I'm so delighted to welcome you here today to our very first virtual open day. As we all know, these last few months have been filled with so many unforeseen circumstances, but in a way it's allowed us here to strengthen our community bonds as well as engage with technology in a way that we have never seen before, as well as being unparalleled in Ireland. So I hope that you have an amazing day today, and we look forward to welcoming your daughters here at Alex very, very soon.
Good afternoon and welcome to our open day here in Alexandra College. It's a most peculiar experience speaking to you virtually because we are so used to welcoming you all here to the college normally, but look, there's no such thing as normality at the moment, and we're only too delighted that you have decided to join us online, and I think you'll get a really good flavour of what Alexandra College Senior and Junior School and boarding are like through this virtual open day. So just to let you know what's going to happen this afternoon, I'm going to speak about the senior school and the boarding school and about our educational philosophy and the founding of the school. And then after that, I'm going to ask Miss Lamplugh, the head of the junior school, to do the same thing, and she'll give you an insight into the wonderful junior school and how well it works. So let me begin by saying a few things about Alexandra College. When anyone ever asks me what I think about the college, which of course they do frequently, I always say Alexandra College is not just a school, it's a phenomenon. It's a place where students come to learn and to find out who they are and to develop as individual young girls who then grow into wonderful, fantastic, strong young women. And whenever I'm speaking to any people who have worked with Alex girls after they've graduated, they always say the same thing, that they are rounded, confident, caring and respectful individuals. And if that's what you want for your daughter, then this is the school for her. So what exactly do we do in order to encourage young girls to become wonderful young women? Well, we encourage them in their classrooms to question things, to engage in dialogue and to develop really meaningful relationships with one another and with their teachers. And we don't have any problem about girls speaking up. We don't censor anything in our classrooms, and we like to think that we engage in the Socratic approach to education, which is all based on dialogue. And that certainly would have been my own experience when I was teaching here as a teacher of Irish and English. And that doesn't happen by accident. That happens through careful discussion at the staff level, at also board and council level, of what kind of a college do we want to be. And we have a duty to the past and to Anne Jellicoe, who founded this school in 1866. And her vision and aims have not changed really in those 160 plus years. Obviously, we've adapted with the times and we've moved forward and made sure that our students are ready to leave the world in which we all currently live and not the past. But the values and vision of Anne Jellicoe were essentially to give women a position in society, to educate girls and young women so that they could be prepared to go out into the world and make their contribution in a meaningful way. Not just like every other school, but in a really meaningful way where women were not afraid to be seen, they weren't afraid to be heard, and the evidence that that has been successful is all around the place. We were so delighted during our 150th anniversary to put together a book called Pioneering Alexandrians, and there were over 78 entries in that which were taken from the Dictionary of Irish Biography of Alexandra graduates who did incredible things in the arts, in the sports field, in politics, and many of them were involved in the 1916 Rising. And, you know, for a school that was just so newly founded, for the women to achieve those things in that short space of time is a testament to the kind of school that Anne Jellicoe and her associates founded. So, you know, all of these things are also down to excellent teaching staff. We have a wonderful relationship here in the school that exists between teachers and pupils. and our reputation goes ahead of us, and we are known all over the world as being the foremost school for educating girls. We have specialist teachers in both senior and junior school, and they are very well motivated to encourage their students to be like them, because they just love working in this school, because it's such a great place to work. I started when I was 22, and really honestly I learned more through my education here in Alexandra College than I did when I was at school myself. Now I know that's nothing unusual that you learn more in your workplace, but I do think it is phenomenal to be able to stand here and say today that I learnt more during my working time here in Alexandra College than I did at any other phase in my life. And I think that that's one of the things that attracts teachers to Alexandra College, because they can experiment, they can try out new things that can't always be done in every single school. And those really are one of the sort of key, I think that's the key to our success here in Alexandra College, is the teachers and the relationships that they encourage the girls to develop with them. The relationships, are, particularly at 5th and 6th year level, are not formal in the normal way, and also our code of behaviour is set up to support students, not to punish them. We don't believe in punishment, we believe in encouragement, and we believe again in dialogue when it comes to behaviour. Rather than punishing students, we much prefer to speak to them and ask them why they did certain things, and encourage them then maybe to look at an alternative way of acting in the future. We're an all-girls school, as I said, and that is something about which we feel very strongly, because we know for a fact in our experience that girls do better in a single-sex environment. They learn how to stand up for themselves, how to identify themselves as women, not to be afraid to be a woman, and most importantly, not to be afraid to show that they are intellectually able and that they can stand up to anyone, whether it is a competitive male or a competitive female or an adult or anyone who feels that they want to take them on. Our Alex girls will take them on their terms. So that doesn't mean that they're aggressive in any way. It means they're assertive and that they believe in themselves and that they know what they want. But that doesn't mean either that they lack the greater qualities in life, which are to do with knowing how to live a good life, knowing how to be good citizens, knowing how to participate in a well-run democracy. And that's based on their experience here in our school, which we run as best we can, given that it's a school in a democratic fashion. So there are other details I know that many of you will want to know about. The first thing that I'd like to say to our international students and parents is that the Leaving Certificate, which is the final examination that takes place at the end of secondary school, is an internationally recognised qualification, like the International Baccalaureate or any of the other exams that can be used to enter university in any country. So it is a portable qualification that's very well regarded around the world. And in first year, the students choose from a long list of subjects. We have a number of languages that we offer: French, Italian, German, Spanish, and obviously for Irish girls, they must study Irish. We have a huge range of subjects from which to choose, which means that the girls have a good taste of subjects in first, second and third year, and then they can take up extra subjects in transition year, and then later on when they're choosing their subjects for 5th and 6th year, they have a good idea of where their strengths and weaknesses lie. So that is very important for us, that the students have the best access to the greatest variety of subjects so that they don't close off any career to themselves. So I'd like to share with you our Leaving Cert results over the last number of years. The national average is 300 points, and our students consistently gain over 440 points every year. The last 2 years, even though I know last year was an unusual year, but coincidentally the girls of 2020 gained 488 points, 448 points, which is exactly the same average as was achieved by the girls in 2019 who sat the actual Leaving Cert. So I think that says a lot about the consistency of achievement and teaching in Alexandra College. The other thing that I would like to talk about, moving away from academics for a moment, is the atmosphere in the school. The centre of our school, both in junior and senior school, is what we call our concourse. And it's here that a lot of the social engagement takes place across the generations, and also our assembly takes place there every morning. And when our sixth year girls are graduating and we ask them what they're going to miss about the school, without fail, the first thing that they will say is the assemblies, because the students present the assemblies along with the staff, myself and Reverend Giles, our chaplain, and also we have amazing fun days. We have this thing called Funky Friday, where as I call them, the boys of Alex, those teachers who teach music and who can play instruments, get together and get the whole school up on their feet singing and dancing, which is a really fantastic thing. And we've continued to do that online during the lockdowns, both in March and the one we're currently going through at the moment. So moving back then to academics and to transition year, I would like to let you know a little bit about our transition year. It is certainly nationally renowned, and I know that those students who come from overseas are really blown away by the types of things that they can do in transition year, where they are allowed to take up new subjects, and they're also encouraged to move out of their comfort zone and to take up a new thing that they've never done before. And one thing that I've seen happening, particularly to students who come from Mexico and Spain, is that they join our rock jam group, and by the time they're coming to their end of their year, they have written their own songs, they've formed their own bands, and they have also performed their music live, both in the school and in outside venues. And to see a shy girl coming into the school at the beginning of the year, and then to see her standing up in her very own rock band, singing into the microphone with her friends, playing different musical instruments, is really quite incredible. And I am so proud of the teachers who enable that and the girls who are not afraid to do that. As well as that, the transition year programme prepares the girls for the university programme, and I'll tell you how that happens. We encourage them to develop portfolios and to develop them online, which is very similar to the kind of work that they do when they're in college. So in a way, TY is preparing the girls for something that you can't really do in 5th and 6th year, because your concentration is on learning the subject matter of the academic subjects, and then when they get into college, they're able to use that knowledge that they've learned in 4th year or transition year to great effect. And the other thing that we do as well is we encourage public speaking. We have a compulsory module for every student, which means that they all have to stand up in front of a group and present, which, as we all know, is one of the greatest fears and is probably the second greatest fear after death, or so I've been told, which makes it quite scary and also shows how important it is to be able to speak in public. The other thing that the girls undergo in transition year is the ability to, to present at an interview. So when their portfolios are half finished around about Christmas, they're interviewed by a panel about their portfolio, and then they're asked questions. What better preparation can you have for an interview than that? And then at the end of transition year, they have another interview along similar lines, where they are asked to justify what they've written in their portfolio. And that's very, very, very strong, and I think something that we're very proud of. As well as that, they do work experience, they get involved in forensic science, and the list goes on and on. I don't want to keep you too long this morning. So the other things that make Alexandra College a unique place, I have to say, is our music curriculum and staff. So we have an enormous staff of music teachers. I think we have approximately 20 music teachers, and we teach academic music, but we also teach every instrument under the sun. We have a jazz band, we have a trad band, we've a rock band, and at our 150th anniversary, the school performed in the concert hall, and it was absolutely unbelievable. And the other thing as well that we do is we encourage all of the girls to get involved in individual tuition in a musical instrument of their choice, whether it's voice or piano or trumpet, whatever they want to do, we will facilitate that. And harp as well, that's another one. So there's really no instrument that any student has ever come to us and asked us to teach them that we have not been able to facilitate. Sometimes it can be difficult to get our hands on the instrument if it is esoteric in any way, but we haven't failed yet. So the other thing about music in this college is that the entire college is imbued with it. When you walk around the college on a given day, you will hear people singing, you'll hear choirs, you'll hear students playing instruments, and it's just part and parcel of our everyday life. And I know as principal of the college that my life would be less rich without that phenomenal musical atmosphere we have in the school. Our drama department, I would say, without any feeling of shame, is the best in the country. We have small group drama, we also have public speaking and speech and drama, and this encourages the girls and enables them to develop their confidence. But more importantly, it also allows them to step out of themselves and become somebody else for a short time, particularly when they're involved in the transition year production, and also when they're actually acting a piece of poetry or a section from a Shakespeare play at assembly in front of the entire school. So they suddenly step from being Mary Jones in transition year to being one of Oscar Wilde's characters or one of Shakespeare's characters or one of our more modern writers' personalities. And that's a very liberating thing, especially during the school day when it can, in other schools, possibly be a bit of a trudge. So I'm very proud of what we do in Alexandra College in our drama department, and I have to say the teachers are phenomenal. Art is also very strong in our school. We've had many successful students who've gone on to do great things in art, particularly recently Simone Rocha, who graduated in 2004. She's an internationally renowned designer, clothes designer, as you know, and we're very, very proud of her. We also have many visual artists, and we've got a lot of their art hanging up around the college. So when you do come to visit the college, you'll be able to see this work. Sport is also another area of college life for which we are renowned. We have won the All-Ireland hockey competition in recent years once, and we've been in the final 3 times, and we've won the Leinster Hockey Cup and League so many times that it's kind of hard to remember. We also offer basketball, soccer, winter athletics, fitness, tennis and cricket, and those latter 2 are enjoyed in the summer term. So we also do another thing which I think is unique in a school in this country anyway, and that is a lecture series which is open to students, parents and the public. So we have a lecture in science called the Joan Carney Lecture, after a very loved teacher, Joan Carney, who taught here in the 90s. And we have the Ardelon History Lecture, which goes back over 100 years, which is a history lecture. I think I said that already. We have the Hermione Art Lecture as well, which again is over 100 years old. And that draws very interesting people who come and deliver phenomenal information to the audience on art and the history of art and the creation of various different types of arts and artefacts. We have the Ethnarine Classics lecture, which is named after one of our previous principals, Ethnarine, and that is a classic lecture which can be about languages, Greek, Latin, or it can be about the history of the classical world. So the final thing that I really would like to say to you this morning is we are engaging in a very, very detailed and exciting college development plan. And you will be able to see details of the first phase of that plan on our website. And also if you drive by the school, you'll see our new entrance on our new road. And we are currently building our new dormitory building here on Milltown. on the Milltown campus. At the moment, the boarders are in Rathmines and they're getting on very well there, but we want the community reunited here on the Milltown campus. So the completion date for that, and again there are photographs available on our website for you to look at, is 2022. So we hope to have all our students back here in Milltown in 2022. The other thing as well is that alongside the development plan, we're also working on our academic and education plan. And really, I think the fruits of that work are to be seen now in the way in which our teachers have been able to move so seamlessly from teaching in person in the classroom to moving online. And we have had lots and lots of really positive praise from our students and our parents in both junior, preschool and senior school, and also boarding, about how effectively this has been done. And I have to say, I am personally very proud of my staff and students, and I would like to pay tribute to them here this afternoon. And the other thing that I haven't spoken too much about, but I do think it's very important that I say something at this stage about our boarding department. And that is that it has been described, and you'll see in the film that is going to follow Miss Lamplugh, as a home from home, my home, a place where I love to be, a place where I learn to make friends and have friends for life. And we've a very strong alumni group who will say the same thing. Those girls who were boarding back in the 50s and 60s who come back to reunions still say that they have the friends that they made in Alexandra College in first year for life, and that they meet up regularly for get-togethers and chats and meals and drinks. And that's really quite an incredible thing to be able to say. And the other thing as well, just from a practical point of view, we have two offerings in boarding. One is 5-day boarding, where students can board from Monday to Friday. And then we have 7-day boarding, which is, as it says, that they board for the whole week. Most of our students do go home at the weekends, but increasingly with our international community growing, we are having students stay for the 7 days, and then they go home at midterm break and at Christmas holidays, etc. It's a really warm, happy place, and whenever I go in there, the girls are palpably happy. They've got a great study regime going, and they're very disciplined, and it means then when they leave school they're extremely independent and they're able to go out there and study and not have to worry about being distracted, because they've already overcome all of those difficulties while in the boarding school. So it just remains for me to say finally that the next phase of our development plan involves a new junior school, a new dining room, and a new a renewal of our senior school building. And I'm standing in the library at the moment, and we're going to be doing that, as well as looking at developing new science facilities. So I hope that you have found what I said today informative, and that you feel that you've learned enough to allow you to make a good decision about where you will send your daughter. And also I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the college. Thank you very much. So I'll now hand over to our junior school head, Miss Avril Lamplugh. Miss Lamplugh.
Thank you very much, Miss Ennis. And like Miss Ennis, I'd like to welcome you all this afternoon to our first virtual open day. So if this was in normal times, as Mrs. Ennis said, you would have heard all you needed to hear about the senior school and the fabulous things that go on over here. And then many of you then would come over then to the junior school, because on a regular open day, I would have parents who are pushing buggies, I have parents who are expecting the girls and so on. And all of these people come onto the campus and they want to know about the whole college. So it's my opportunity to give you all the information about the junior school, and I'll try to preempt as many questions as I know that come up usually on those days. And I am only too delighted to be able to tell you about the junior school, because I feel so fortunate and so happy to come to school here every single day. And I know that you will have lots of different questions maybe at the end, but as I said, hopefully I will answer those questions as we go around during the day. Now usually my J6 girls would be here too, and they'd be only so delighted to show you all around the whole school. But hopefully in a few months' time, when all of this passes, you will have an opportunity to come into our building and visit our school again. So Alexandra College Junior School is a wonderful place to come and be a part of every day. And as I said, I feel very privileged to be a part of the Alex community, where every single person, so whether you are come into whichever gate you come in, and whether you're a security man or a maintenance person or you're a cleaner, you're a teacher, you're a student, everybody is treated with respect. And that's something I have always valued coming into the school. Be kind to everyone is our motto in the junior school, and we reiterate that throughout the day. So throughout the day, it's in posters around the school, we talk about an assembly, which I'll talk to you about in a few minutes too. So be kind to everyone is a motto that we stand by all the time. So in the junior school, a lot of people say, well, how many girls do you have in the junior school? So we have 300 girls. And they start at age 3, and you might say age 3, that's because we have the preschool, and I'll talk to you about in a moment too. So the girls from age 3 to 12 come into the junior school every day, and they're warmly welcomed by all of us into a very friendly, caring, diverse, child-centred learning environment. And with the 2 preschool years, it now means that if your daughter comes into preschool and works her way right through the junior school, she's going to spend 10 years of her educational journey in the junior school, in the preschool and junior school. So that's a huge part of her life. So it's extremely important to me and to all our staff that your daughter is happy and has the opportunity to thrive in a very exciting learning environment. Now, when you come onto the Alex campus, and you'll see it on the girls' uniform, our crest, and you'll see it all over our website, and I know you've been probably looking at our website, and we'll be steering you around that in a few minutes, but our crest is really important to us. And it symbolises who we are here in Alex, and we talk about it a lot in the junior school too. What does it actually mean? So people come and say, how is Alex different? So we look and we say, we educate across 4 pillars of excellence. They are the academics, the visual and performing arts, music and sport. And they're the 4 different parts of our crest, and each one is equally important. And then right in the middle is the cross. And that shows the respect we have for spirituality and the Christian ethos that we have in the school. So it's something the girls are really proud of in Alexandra College. Something that's very unique about the junior school is that we have a very strong Frebel ethos. So you might say, well, what is all that about? Is that something different? Is that a different curriculum you're teaching? Absolutely not. It's very child-centred and child-friendly. And if you the student teachers who come in from the teaching colleges now, whether it's from Frebel or Marino and Pat's, all work through this curriculum now. So it's something that's really important to us too. So it's the whole idea of getting the balance between the hands, the doing part, the heart, the feeling part, and the head, the thinking. So as Mrs. Ennis said, she is moving the girls on in the senior school to think for themselves, to be able to act for themselves, all of those things. We start all that foundation in the junior school. So the girls are active participants in the student-led community. And if you were going into the school during school time, you would just see evidence of that right through from the 3-year-olds right through to the 12-year-olds. So the teaching is very interactive and practical. We learn by doing. There's a lot of creative thinking and playing and questioning. And then the lessons are differentiated to suit all different needs. So you have to really come and see it in action. And you'll see that whole hands-on, minds-on experience that the girls have, which is so important. Another part of this, and it was something, this is my 7th year here in the junior school, and it's something that I was very interested to hear about and see it in action, and this is our family groups. So maybe in your daughter's or son's school, wherever they're at school, they might have houses, but in Alexandra College Junior School, we have family groups. And basically what happens is all the 300 girls in the junior school are divided up into 10 groups. There's a different theme every year. And the girls get an opportunity during the week to do activities together. So I would have parents say to me, Mrs. Lampo, I was down in Tesco with my preschooler, and she was waving hi to Susie, and she said, oh, I know her, she's in J6 because she's in my family group. So this is that sense of sisterhood that we have through our family groups, getting to know one another, being there for each other. So if you're a child coming from South Africa, or you're a child coming from the UK, and you don't know anybody else in the school, very quickly your family groups help you to get yourself involved and immersed into the school. So as I mentioned before, the teaching and learning, we follow the national school curriculum, obviously, with lots of additions. So all our teachers are fully qualified teachers, but they all have, amazingly, they all have these extra areas of expertise, which they share, and they have that whole spirit of collaboration amongst the staff. So as part of the school day, so if your child has, no matter what class she's in, J4, KG lower, she will have her class teacher for the vast majority of the day. And then she will have specialist teachers in PE, art, music, French, and then the older girls have coding as well. If your child needs extra help, we have 2 learning support teachers. And the learning support teachers work really closely with the mainstream teachers and also with the children themselves. So they might go on their own, they might go one-on-one, it might be in a group, might be pairing as needed. And all of that works really, really smoothly to give the support that your child needs. We also have the music centre where the girls can often take their lessons. So for those of you who are working and need that position where your daughter can come into school every day and everything's taken care of, that you'll see as I give you more information that's what happens here. We have our own junior school orchestra and choir. We have a swimming programme in place. The students all have a voice. So if you come into the school, you'll see a Green Schools notice board. You'll see student council involved. You'll talk about there are captains, sports captains, art, STEAM, music captains, and so on. So the girls have that opportunity for leadership all around the school too. So many of you would ask me too about the school day. So, what time do you open? What are your facilities for after school and so on? So what I would like to say to you is when your daughter skips into Alexandra College in junior school in the morning, she comes through the front door and she's going to be met by me. Okay, and in that school day, from that moment then, we give your daughter the care that she needs right through till you come and pick her up, whether that's 1 o'clock for the preschool, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it may be. And during that day, she'll have the opportunity to engage in all the different things that go on throughout the school day. So we're a very busy school community from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. So your daughters will come in the morning. They can be dropped off between 8 and 8:30. They go to their classrooms where they're supervised. They can just read, they can relax. There's chess games going on, lots of different things going on in the mornings. And at 8:30 then their teacher starts them on the school day. Between 8:30 and 8:45, the girls get ready for the school day, everything out of bags, everything ready to go. And then their class time starts with their class teacher. They'll have obviously their breaks and lunches, and then we have the opportunity for them to all have hot lunch. So they have a choice. We go to the dining hall for lunch. There's 2 different settings. So the younger girls go first, then the older girls. If they want to just bring their own lunch, they can, or they can have the opportunity to have a hot lunch. And they're very well taken care of over there. Then we go right through to the afternoon activities and right till 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock then, if you were over in the concourse and at 3 o'clock any afternoon, it suddenly becomes this really, really busy place where the girls are coming out of their classroom and they're going off to a whole host of extracurricular activities, which I'll talk about in a moment. Older girls can go to prep and do their homework, and then the younger girls can go to the aftercare programme, which is open till 6 o'clock every day. So I mentioned assembly earlier, and Mrs. Ennis talked about assembly when she was talking about the senior school, and the assembly is a really, really important part of our day. So like the senior school have their concourse, we also have a concourse over in the junior school, and that's where we gather. And we gather there and we celebrate progress. So it could be a hockey team or somebody's won a medal in swimming on the weekend. We celebrate birthdays, special occasions. We pray and reflect together. We follow the Christian calendar, so whether it's Advent, Lent, a Saint's Day, whatever it may be. And they're very much student-led. So the girls will lead the prayers. We have class assemblies on a Friday. So it's just a really positive way to start off the day. It takes about 10 minutes. And then the girls all go off and do their various things. So I mentioned earlier about the preschool and that your daughter can start here. Now some actually start just right before they're 3 years old. So our preschool is an integral part of our junior school. So I know in some schools the preschool is kind of like a separate entity, but in the junior school it's preschool into junior school. And they follow the Ashton programme. Now the preschoolers, if you were on the campus here today, we have this wonderful campus, great facilities, and the preschoolers are walking in amongst the 6th years, 5th years of the senior school and so on as they move around the campus. So we have 2 preschool years. So for those of you who may have had children a couple of years ago, there used to be an opportunity to have 1 preschool year, but after 2017, it became that it's a 2 preschool years. So we run the ECCE program, which is the government grant. So you have your school fees and then the grant pays for a lot of those too. So it's a really, really great way to start off in the junior school, into the whole part of the early part of your educational journey. Now there are 22 students in each class with 2 qualified teachers in both. Now I'm just reiterating, because this is very important for those of you, because some of you say, oh, can I just put it straight into one class and not the other? Our 2 preschool classes are 2 separate classes. So what happens, the 3 and 4 year olds are in the preschool, what we call preschool lower, and the 4 and 5 year olds are are in preschool upper. Now, what we recommend is that you go from preschool lower to preschool upper and then into our kindergarten lower, or junior infants as you would know. That is the best way for them to get the best out of the preschool years. It's absolutely vital. So you might say, oh, my daughter is recognising words and I think she's come on so much and she knows this and she knows that. I don't think she needs to go to the preschool lower. Remember, go back to our crest. It's not just about the academics. The social, emotional, all of that is hugely important too. So that first year settles them into the school, gets them ready. They learn to share, all of those various things, basic things that they do. And then they move up to the next class where they get a little bit more. And by the time then they move into what we call our KG lower, our junior infants class, they are so ready for school. We don't have to have any settling in time. They start in on the first day and they just go on. So I would absolutely say to you the 2 preschool years, and to be really careful about that, because if you don't put your children into the preschool, you have very little chance of them getting into KG lower, because the girls move up and we simply don't have the space. So we have then, once you finish in the preschool upper class move into KG lower. And we have 1 of each class in KG lower, KG upper and J1. And then we double up the classes, so there's 2 of each, the J2s through the J6s. In the main building in the junior school, we house all the classes up to J4, and then J5 and J6 have this lovely opportunity to move over to another building, the Jellicoe building as it's known as, after Anne Jellicoe, the founder of the college, and they have a little more independence. They're upstairs in that building in 4 lovely big classrooms, and it kind of gives them that little bit of preparation for going over to the senior school then. Our J6 girls, so the J5, J6 program, they're all up there and they have all their classes just like everything else, but that doesn't mean they're separated. They come over for assembly every day, they come over for their music classes, they're in and out all the time and involved throughout the whole school, throughout the day. Our J6 girls then move with ease over to the senior school. So some of you will say, some of you and others in other parts of the world will say, well, is there an exam to get into the senior school? If your daughter is in the junior school, she will move into the senior school. What happens is we take the 2 classes and we split them across to 4 classes in first year, and it's all done by mixed ability. So some of you will say, are they streamed? No, they're not. Okay, there's no exam to get in. There is a scholarship exam in 6th class if your child would like to take it. But they move over with ease, they're familiar with the campus, we have a lot of shared teachers, Mrs. Ellis and I work really closely together, and so a lot of the music and sports teachers and all are shared, so it actually they move over with great ease. The excellent facilities in the college, you'll see all that on our website. So as close as we are to town and beside the Lewis and so on, we have hockey pitches, tennis courts, we have our own gym. So our girls in the junior school are basically based in their own classrooms, either in Jellicoe or in the main building. They go up to the dining hall for lunch, and then we use the junior school gym, but also we use the sporting facilities all around the college too. I mentioned too about our extracurricular program. So that's a lot of you, if your children are in the state schools, you'd have to do a lot of running around in the afternoon. But here we can take care of all of those things in the afternoon. So they can choose either to go home at 3 o'clock, but I can tell you very few girls go home at 3 o'clock, which is great to see because it keeps a lovely buzz around the campus all day. We have a very varied and extensive school programme after school. So the girls could go and do their homework first in prep if they wish, or they can avail of all of these, and you can see all these on our website too. In the area of sports, they can do extra hockey, tennis, multi-sports, play ball for the younger girls. They can do coding and makerspace classes. They can take speech and drama, they can take public speaking, ballet, dance, club Gaeilge, and also many of you would ask me, well, what about if they need to make confirmation and communion and so on through the Catholic faith? Again, they're all after school classes, and we can take care of all of those down through the Milltown parish. So it's a really busy atmosphere here in the afternoon, and the girls are going around doing all their various things. And then when they finish those activities, they can go on to aftercare if they need to till 6 o'clock. And we have a wonderful aftercare program. They are the teachers in the school that take care of it, and the girls can go over there and either finish their homework or go and play outside or whatever they like to do. Another thing, so if we talk about our Alex Crest, and we talk about our Frebel ethos, and we talk about our family groups that are all very, very unique to Alexandra College, we're also very proud of the fact that we are a digital school of excellence. And that's thanks to the talented teachers that we have here. I can't take the kudos for that. So technology is something we use a lot throughout the school. What's really important is that we have a very strong distance learning program too. And the technology we were using in lots of different ways. Through our Parents Association, we have banks of iPads, and the older girls use MacBooks. And what was really important, we had moved into Google Classroom before all of this ever happened, and schools closing and moving to online learning. So we already had those classes in place and all of that, all those platforms in place. And what happened then during the last time the schools were closed and the school closure, we just moved very smoothly and very easily onto online learning. So currently our girls, even though we're not in the building, our virtual school is up and going, and the girls are logging on at 9 o'clock, roll call right through till 3 o'clock. The younger girls are on to about 1 or 1:30, and then all the extracurriculars are still going ahead online. So that is a testament, as Ms. Senna said about her teachers. The junior school teachers have been outstanding. So whether your child needs learning support, or she's going to her makerspace classes, or she's doing her dance, PE, everything is still happening. Art, music, live, online classes every day. So it's kept the structure of school. Of course they miss being in school, but at least they're able to see each other and interact with their teachers. And that relationship between teacher and student is as evident in the junior school as it is in the senior school. So we're very proud of our being a digital school of excellence, and that also ties in with something else that we're very unique with, is our STEAM program. So for those of you, we hear a lot about STEM and STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, art and maths. So it all might sound like, oh, what is all that about? That ties in beautifully with our Frebel ethos. So it ties in with that whole idea of thinking outside the box, hands-on, minds-on. So we do a lot of different projects around the school in relation to our STEAM program. And if you go and look, there's actually a specific link for our STEAM program on our website. So please go and look at that. And one of our teachers will tell you about it too. Really, really important. One of the projects they've been doing recently is we've been tied up with a group of student engineers in the University of Glasgow. And that is all related to a student who's gone through the whole senior school here. And that's something our J6 girls have got involved in, and they've absolutely loved it. So a lot of this goes on all the time. Training for green training, lots of green screen training, lots and lots of different things happen around here all the time. And the older girls also have coding as part of their curriculum. So I know I've given you a lot of information here. As I said, I'm trying to reenact what my J6 girls would be telling you as they move around the school. And I know it is a big commitment to send your daughter to the junior school as well. And some of you will say to me, you know, what's different about the local school to here? You have to come onto the campus and experience what's going on. Some of you will ask me about class sizes. So I know class size is very big in other schools. Ours vary between, in the preschool, a maximum of 22 in each with 2 teachers. The younger classes in KG, lower KG, we kind of keep at 20, 22. And then as we move on up, the class size max out at 24. So there are nice, big, spacious classrooms, lots of opportunities to move around. If you come into the junior school, the girls are up, moving around, working in groups, working together. I would always be very worried about a silent class. I like the girls to be up, moving, chatting, and interacting with their teachers. So as I said, I know it's a big commitment, but it is an investment for life. Speaking as both a parent and as someone who's been involved in education for over 34 years, choosing the right school is crucial. And if you choose Alex, it will be the most wonderful choice you'll make. Ask the parents who send their daughters here now to tell you why they want their daughters educated in Alexandra College. And ask the teachers who teach here why they want and always want to teach here. So I'd like to say thank you for being here today. If you do choose Alex, and we have a place, and we do have only limited places available for next year, I look forward to meeting you and your daughter in person in the very near future. So following on from this, what I'd encourage you to do is to go back, look where on the page where you're on right now, looking in right now, and take time to enjoy the junior school and senior school 3D virtual tours. It'll give you, while you're not here on campus, it'll give you a really good idea of the facilities that we have here. So just scroll down the page to access it. There's lots of information, booklets, films. There's even a little treasure hunt if you want to do that with your daughters and show them what Alexandra College is all about. So thank you very much for listening. I know I've given you a lot of information. Mrs. Ennis and I will be here now to answer any questions that you may have. And as I said, keep well, stay safe, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you very much, Miss Lampley. That was really very comprehensive and very interesting to hear. We will now introduce a film which we put together of images and words from the girls. So I hope you enjoy My Alex.
So we have some questions coming in. This is one for you, Miss Lamplugh. A parent is wondering whether her daughter should start at 4 or 5 and is wondering whether there's an option to move into KG after 1 year of preschool.
Our recommendation and on our experience in the last few years, and especially with the 2 preschool years, is that it is best for every child to do 2 preschool years. So I would say to you, as a parent to a parent, don't rush your child into KG lower. Let her do the 2 preschool years. She'll get the best and then she'll be so ready then for KG lower. So at the moment that is not an option. The reason it's not an option, number one, is that there wouldn't be a place for you. So if you don't move from preschool lower up to preschool upper, there might only be 1 or 2 places if somebody is moving or whatever it might be. So just don't rush your child into school. Most of the children now coming into KG lower, what you would remember as junior infants when you were younger, they're all 5. And as a result then, they settle in so much more easily. All of us went to school when we were 4. That's not the case anymore now. The 2 preschool years are crucial to get them ready for the mainstream school. So that's what I would say to you. Take your time, let them come in at their own pace, no matter what they know or don't know. The academics are only one part of it. The social and emotional are equally as important as the academics. So that would be my answer to that.
Thank you. And then there's some questions about boarding. Ms. Ennis, is boarding at Alexandra College for international students only?
So the question there about is boarding in Alex just for international schools or students only? Absolutely not. The boarding school was founded at the very beginning when the school was opened, and it would have been generally Irish girls from various parts of the country who attended, and that continues to be the case. So we're delighted to say that we have a great mix of girls from all parts of Ireland, expats, parents who've returned, or families who've returned from abroad, and when they were abroad they had their daughters in Alex here. They wanted an Irish education, and we have a lot of overseas students as well. So absolutely not is it just an international school for international students.
And another question, how has COVID-19 impacted the boarding house, and during level 5 restrictions do girls have to go home and leave the boarding house?
Okay, well look, obviously the virus and the different levels that we have been through, level 5, level 3, have impacted the boarding school insofar as we've had to take all the precautions that any residential place has had to do, and they've all worked very well. We've had no cases whatsoever of the virus in the boarding school. So do the girls have to go home? In fact, no, they don't. We really prefer them to stay, because if they leave the bubble of the boarding school and then they come back, you know, it's opening the boarding school students up to the danger of the virus. So during level 5, we insist that the girls stay in the boarding school for the duration. So they don't really go home at the weekends, and they can't really go out. So, but that's the safest way to keep them. But during normal times, they can go out. You know, the senior girls can go into the city centre and go to the art galleries and the cinemas, and the junior girls can go to the various shops in Rathmines, which they love, and of course Dundrum.
And then there's some questions about subject choices. So how do the girls find out about the subjects they can choose for the junior cert, and when would they choose them?
Okay, so for the junior cert, those choices are made before the students start first year. So we send out a communication in January inviting every parent and student to come in to visit the school in February, and it's at that point that they make their subject choices. So in junior cert they have to do 10 subjects, one of which must be a language, and history and English and Irish if they are Irish students. And then they can choose whatever they wish within a 15 subject offering, or actually it's more than 15. And they study those 10 subjects up to junior cert, and then after that in transition year they can add new subjects, so they can take up a new language. And then when they come into come to the end of TY, then they make their leaving cert choices. And they do a certain number of subjects. So the choices are made before they come in the February, prior to the entry at the end of August.
And then actually the next question is a follow-up to that really. Do most girls do a minimum of 7 subjects or 6 for the leaving cert, and how many bands or choices are there at senior level? Okay,
so most students do 7 subjects. It would be very unusual to do only 6. And some of our more able students do 8 subjects. So with regard to the question about the bands of subject choices, that is quite a complicated question to answer. So what we do here in Alex is when the students are coming towards the end, around about the March of their transition year, or whatever the equivalent is if they're abroad, they are invited into a talk in the school where we outline the subjects. And then they are given a questionnaire, And the questionnaire is based on, in an ideal world, what subjects would you like to do? What 7 or 8 subjects would you like to do? So then we take that information back. We only give them about a week to complete that, and we feed it into our database, and then it creates 5 bands. And, well, strictly 6, because there's a language band as well. So that means that the students have the maximum opportunity to get their ideal combination of subjects. But it doesn't always work out because it's all dependent on the wishes and choices of that particular cohort. So it's not set in stone, and we change it every year to suit the demand.
And then back to boarding, are the girls supervised at weekends outside of study hours?
The girls are supervised at all times. The only times they're not supervised is when they're in the senior years, particularly TY 5th and 6th, if they wish to go into the city centre or to Dundrum or wherever the cinema. They're permitted to go in groups without adult supervision. Obviously not at the moment with COVID-19, but during normal times, which hopefully will return pretty soon. Then, as well as that, we have an outing every weekend, either on a Saturday or a Sunday, which is fully supervised. And then the girls who choose not to go on the outing are supervised back at the residence. And so basically the answer to the question is that the girls are supervised at all times. And if they do choose to go out, say for example to the cinema, they have to be back at 5:45 for their supper, and then that's it. You know, the gates are locked, the security time locks go on to all the doors, and they can't go anywhere, and certainly there's no question of escape.
There's another question about support learning and career guidance.
Okay, yeah, so there are so many things that we do here in Alexandra College that it can be sometimes easy to leave things out, and I know I did leave out comments about learning support. So we have a really thriving professional learning support department in the junior school, as Ms Lamplugh mentioned, and also in the senior school. So students who need learning support will be given that support depending on the level of their need, and it works very successfully. We have, in some cases where there are extreme learning needs, we will have one-on-one tuition, and then but normally and ordinarily the girls are taken in groups of 2 or 3, and we've students with lots of different needs: ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, lots of different needs, and the team are very experienced in dealing with all of those needs. With regard to career guidance, I think our career guidance is second to none in Alexandra College, particularly when it comes to dealing with any personal concerns, any emotional issues. So the counselling is very, very high standard. And also then the guidance in terms of careers is exemplary. The students are helped all along the way with their applications to CAO, which is the Irish University Application System, UCAS, the UK application system. We have students applying to American universities, to universities in Eastern Europe, all across the world, and Oxford and Cambridge. And also, again, I should have mentioned this because it's something that we are entitled to boast about. We have had many students being offered places in Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, and obviously our own great universities, UCD, UCC, NUI Galway, and Trinity College. Okay, thank you.